What's up everyone? Welcome back to Twisted Barbell. My name is Marcus. I'm back for week 2 of my training vlog. And today is day 1, starting with competition squats. We got 4x7 at 68%. And the calculated load for me was at 205 pounds. As you can see here, my honey has decided to join me again this week. And I'm pretty proud of her for sticking with this. That is a testament of how easy this program is. But nonetheless, we had 4x7, and I found this to be a little bit tough, to be honest. I'm working on my breathing techniques, and when you're doing high reps like that with a pretty decent load, it is very important to maintain your breathing and really work through that. So anyway, the next exercise is bench press, and that's also 4x7, but this is at 69%, so the load for me ends up being 175 pounds, and this is, I'm happy to say, fairly easy for me. Since beginning my training back in August, I definitely feel some momentum picking up, and my training has gone fairly well. As I've said before, I'm focusing on my form and really making sure I warm up and stretch before my workouts. So I have been seeing an improvement all along. The next exercise is incline bench, and this is 4x12 from 7 to 8.5 RP. And for me, I went with 115 pounds. This is one of the exercises that has pained me for some time because of a previous shoulder injury on my right shoulder. But I'm happy to say I'm feeling strong with this. As long as I make sure I warm up properly before, my strength seems to be bouncing back. Next thing is machine rows, working set, 3x12 I think. This I'm using the pulley system for. Some of the exercises that I really miss with my regular routine, going back to the point that the volume here is low and I'm used to doing 3 or 4 exercises per muscle group. But anyway, the next exercise here is hanging leg raises, 3x10s, and obviously is my body weight. And the RP should be 8 to 9, but 3x10s, honestly, that's closer to an RPE of 10 for me when I get to 12 repetitions. Not much I can do with the weight. But anyway, moving on to the next day, day 2 of week 2. And we begin here with pause deadlifts. Here I'm just warming up with a light weight. You can see my official deadlift footwear there. The actual routine or program is 4x4 at 7 RP, so I keep the load at a relatively light 135 pounds. I find the pause deadlift worth my time, and I'm glad the weight is low because this is another one of those exercises that has troubled me for some time due to a low back injury with deadlifts themselves. So I find the pause helps to hopefully strengthening that part. You know, this is a nice exercise to take your time and really focus on the technique. Anyway, next exercise, bench press, 3x8 at 68%. So again, the load is light at a relatively low 165 pounds. Again, my strength has been feeling really good with the bench press. I'm happy to report, and I'm looking forward to making more gains with that. This next exercise are hip thrusts, barbell hip thrusts, and here I went with a pretty decent load of 175 pounds so that I can get to an 8 or 9 RP with a 3x10 routine. It's a little bit challenging for me, only because of the cushion. Adding that much weight on your hips, you really have to make sure that that foam is in the proper placement of the bar. But nonetheless, I get through this no problem. And this is another exercise I'm feeling, putting the emphasis on the lower back when you hold that bridge at the top. And I'm hoping that the combination of that and the pause deadlifts will make for a stronger low back, helping to relieve the pain that I've had there. Next things are tricep pull downs and 3x11 at an 8 to 9 RPE. So I go with 60 pounds here, and this is relatively easy for me at this weight as well. But I'm sticking with the program, trying not to make too many adjustments. The one thing you may notice in some of the footage here is that I brought my laptop downstairs so I could actually make some data entries as I'm going along with the workout in between sets. So the next one is seated incline dumbbell curls, and these are 3x11 at 8 to 9 RP, so I go with 30 pounds for 11 reps. And that seemed to be pretty good. So I think I might be getting a little bit better with assessing my RPE. You know, it's still going to take a little practice, but I think I'm getting there. So as I mentioned, I'm using the laptop so I could put the figures in as I go. And that way the program will make adjustments for me on the fly and hopefully lead me to starting my exercises off with the proper weight going forward. So this exercise is dealer's choice, so to speak, and I do my face pulls at 3 by 12 so I can get a 9 RPE. I'll go with a load of 60 pounds on these. And I gotta say, I was really feeling this in my traps for the next 2 days, so that was pretty effective. Anyway, moving on to day 3 of week 2, we go back to competition squats, and sure enough, my sweetheart is sticking with it. And we're still using just the bar for her, so we're focusing on her technique. But for me, the load is 155 pounds, so I can be at a 6.5 RPE with the 4x5. This is relatively simple for me with the squats, but I'm happy to keep the weight down for the second day of squats in the week. Again, just to make sure I'm really working on my technique. And what I do, I try to take advantage of the fact that the weight is low and I get deeper in my squats. Next exercise is lat pull downs at 3 by 14, and you're supposed to obtain a 6.5 to 8.5 RPE. So for me, the load is 100 pounds, keeping it down so that I can keep the RPE down. And I think, again, I was probably more effective with my RPE assessment. Lat pull downs are definitely one of my favorites. I like to really focus and concentrate both on the positive and negative movements of the exercise. So far, I am enjoying this TSA beginner program, despite the fact that it lacks a lot of volume. But nonetheless, I am happy with it, and I am feeling like I'm getting stronger as I get acclimated to it. Next exercise is one arm shoulder press. I keep the weight relatively light at 30 pounds so that the RPs ends up being at a maximum 8.5 for a 3 by 12 routine. And this also kind of hit the target pretty well. Next exercise for the day ends up being skull crushers. And again, I went back to utilizing the pulley system with the easy curl bar attachment. I think I'm starting to like that. Just as long as I make sure that the bench is in the proper position, pretty convenient. So this is 3 sets at 14 reps for maximum 8.5 RP. So I went with 50 pounds, but honestly, at that many reps, that was actually a little difficult for me. So next time I think I'll lower the weight to probably 40 pounds. But I've made the entry into the system, so hopefully when I get back to that exercise, it will start me off at the right 40 pounds and my RPE assessment will be a little more accurate. And then the final exercise for the day ends up being easy bar curls. And for this, I went with a load of 50 pounds because they are high repetition, 3 sets of 14 for a maximum RPE of 8.5. And I found this weight actually hit it pretty well. My last, well, all sets I did 14, but my last one was closer to a 9 RPE. So I think the weight here is pretty good, keeping it lower than my typical 70 to 75 pounds. For the high reps, it felt good. It had a nice burn going on there. All right, so the last day training for week 2, day 4, starts with deadlifts, and it is a 3 by 4 at 7.5 RPE. And so the load for me was 195. And this is still one of those exercises where I'm just really not too pleased with my form. Looking at the tape, it looks like it's fine, but I know when I'm going through the exercises, it doesn't feel right. So something I still need to work on. And the second exercise is a 3 count pause bench press. And this is a 4 by 4 plus at 6.5 RPE. So started with a load of 185, then went down to 175 the next 2 sets. And that felt good, holding the pause at the bottom. There wasn't much trouble getting the bar back up for the 4 plus count. Last set I did 5 reps. The next exercise for the day is Bulgarian split squats. And here I do 3 sets by 10 at about an 8 RPE. And I use a 35-pound kettlebell to add some weight. These feel comfortable for me. Obviously, by the time I move over to the other leg, there's quite a burn. This next exercise is athlete movement of choice, and I do a 4 by 10 lateral raises and alternating to front shoulder raises. I stick with the 15-pound dumbbell per hand. So that's the breakdown of week 2 of my training vlog series. I hope you find it interesting. If you haven't already, I wish you consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks again. Take care.